I have wasted countless
All right, let's give this a watch.
hours.
Let's see what he has to say. I like the way he does the videos too. The third person and areas to improve, but it's still really, really nice. It's a really cool effect.
I have wasted countless hours learning heroes that I didn't know were situational. And because I don't want to see new players go through the same ordeal as me, I decided I'd make a video that'd highlight some heroes to avoid learning altogether. Now let's start with the hero I regret putting the most time into it all, Symmetra. You might see the pros using this hero to shuttle their team out of the spawn, using the teleporter, and then immediately they run back and swap to a more reliable hero. Don't let this fool you. Symmetra is the definition of situational. Great for 2 CP, great for Lijiang Tower, she excels at camping points, but that's all. You can't use her for any other circumstance. Her stats aren't anything special. Her ultimate is a defensive ult, and it just doesn't fit well with her DPS kit. The second hero I would tell you to avoid is Wrecking Ball. I spent a good amount of time
my favorite
learning
heroes,
Wrecking Ball,
guys.
and it was an utter waste. Wrecking Ball was great for stalling points in overtime in Overwatch 1, and that was his whole shtick. But now...
Ooh. He's going to be frustrating a bunch of Wrecking Ball players. I can tell right away.
Can't even do that. I'd seriously avoid learning this hero. It's a time dump. It's not worth it. If I knew that Overwatch 2 would be the worst possible atmosphere for Wrecking Ball, I would have saved myself the time and put it into another hero. Wrecking Ball needs another tank for his style. Without it, in Overwatch 2, he's focused down and killed super fast. His damage is negligible. His ult is easily avoidable. Sombra ruins his day. So the last hero I would advise against learning is Lifeweaver.
Okay.
The Lifeweaver is the worst Mercy. Anything he can do, Mercy can do better. And I don't see the point in running a Weaver when Mercy can res and damage boost, and her ult is better at keeping the team alive. Like, that being said, Weaver lacks damage potential. His utility is selfish utility. His ultimate is good, but requires teammates to be near the tree. I mean, I'd say he's situational for like when your team is feeding and you need to pull them back in. If you'd like to know which heroes I think are worth investing time into, I'm going to be making a video for that as well. So do you agree with my analysis of heroes that you should probably avoid putting time into? I'd love to know what you think about these heroes. This has been Draven, and I'll catch you later.
I do think, I'll point out, if you want to be in the Overwatch League and you want to play with the best of the best, yeah, this list makes kind of reasonable amount of sense. It like, these are heroes that are very, very niche and don't have like a direct slot into a traditional composition. The thing is, there are lots of players who do make these heroes work. And there are many times too where maybe the base kit of the hero, like let's say for example, the Symmetra's standard kit doesn't fit well and doesn't actually execute the things that need to be executed in a traditional fight. That's where one tricks come in. And I'm on the fence about one tricks. I think they're totally fine in some way. But they have to be able to squeeze value out in places where normally the traditional value isn't needed. So let's say, for example, actually we can use like just an analogy here. Let's say you have a nail sticking out, right? And you have a hammer. Obviously the hammer is the best thing to be able to get that nail in. But why not use a rock? Well, the question is, okay, the rock actually isn't good enough to nail that nail in. It isn't good enough to do that job perfectly, but it can still get the job done. And when it comes to competitive environments and winning games, you can actually eliminate the need for that character being in that specific situation by putting in other little tiny bits of skill. For example, and I'm going to use this in my old days of playing Symmetra, going up against characters like Pharah. People will say, you know, it's really hard to get Pharah out of the sky with these characters. Nowadays, it's a little bit different, but this is just like a conceptual example. We can run with it in other places. The real question is, how do you stop Pharah from getting into the air? And so a lot of the times, the way that you're playing is actually to get the Pharah before she even launches off and does her own thing. It's the same thing. Actually, we can use it like now with Tracer, right? Tracer is a character that doesn't do really well against flying characters. But, the big but, is that if you catch that person off guard, either before or after they've made that aerial play, then you're okay. Then you can avoid all of the mistakes and all of the pitfalls that come from that character's weaknesses, right? We don't, like, the problem or the solution to a puzzle isn't always the direct solution. It can be found in other places in the fight. So, in a way, I do agree with him. And actually, in a way, too, it's healthier to not just one-trick bad characters for the entire community and environment. But you never find metas unless you explore. And especially, too, as somebody, I played Orisa back in the day before Orisa was considered meta, and she was actually really strong, even though players didn't consider her really strong. Because the ability to put down a shield and incrementally push your way through the battlefield worked in many situations where people said, no, Orisa's the stand still, wait till they come at you kind of playstyle. Orisa, yeah. Orisa says stand still, wait till they come at you kind of playstyle with the old Orisa. Now, I do believe there are other characters out there that exist in this space. I think Lifeweaver is one of those characters where right now, and actually Lifeweaver and Symmetra are very close to each other in terms of application, where right now most of the abilities are being used defensively. They're being used to stop whatever is happening to your team. But Lifeweaver has a lot of potential for very aggressive play. The fact is that the pedal can be thrown forward, placed in aggressive position, put up on high ground somewhere, pull somebody up to a new position. You can pull somebody forward into the fight. There's lots of potential for aggressive plays that don't always work out right now, but potentially might be useful in the future, or might even be areas to experiment on. It might, like, you really want to make sure that you're not just throwing out all possibilities of a character being useful just because the base kit and the standard things the base kit does isn't refined for the one way that people are playing Overwatch at that time. Does he just end it out with some music? Why
am I alive right now?
Wait, what's just happening? Hold on. What did I miss? I missed something.
Why am I alive right now?
Is it the Sojourn talking? Who's talking?
Yeah, go on with our tracer. No! I got pulled out.
Wait, what? What? Where's this audio coming from?
I got pulled out. Yeah, because you know yourself decided that it was my time to leave.
I don't get the contextual end of that. I guess we were talking about Lifeweaver, but maybe there's no difference between the, yeah, maybe there's no difference between, alright, sorry. Maybe they didn't include the clip for a reason. They just include the audio, or I'm not really sure what went on there, but interesting last little bit.